Item number 10, proposed amendment to Section 12-2-22 of the Land Development Code, Governmental Center District. Recommendation that City Council refer to the Planning Board for its consideration and recommendation of proposed amendment to Section 12-2-22 of the Land Development Code, removing the Governmental Center District. Madam Attorney, would you like to speak at this time on this issue?
Thank you, Council President. And it does impact the amendment that you were discussing, council members, you were discussing related to the governmental district. This, there was an act that established the district. It was abolished by the legislature in 2003. Our ordinance was based on the act, the state act that created the district, and as I understand it, was created for the purpose of accomplishing constructing the governmental buildings in the governmental center. So all of those have been, that was accomplished some time ago, and the legislature abolished the act, and I would just recommend that we just sort of in a ministerial way just remove references to this repealed act. And I think what I might also add is we are going to do a review of the entire code and determine things like this, because it does take some very intense research into every code section to look at the underlying authority under state law and determining, such as in this case, that the basis for the ordinance no longer exists in the law, and we're endeavoring to do that in a project to look at the entire code. So, in any event, thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Councilman Tahar.
Yes, thank you. And that's a lot of the reason why I kind of brought this up, was because I did know that the act had been abolished and that this was sort of an obsolete district that's not really in use anymore. And frankly, I don't consider it a governmental district because, you know, and I've said before, I don't think City Hall should be down here, so I think we should move it someplace else. But, you know, I think it's a district that's not needed and therefore can go away. So that's the reason why I brought it forward.
Okay. I think in talking to the city attorney, it's almost like we don't need this because it's already gone. So,
but I mean, if that's the case, then I'll withdraw it. But my thing is, the presentation we had earlier is they want to change their thing to reference the governmental district. So would that just go away? I just want to make sure that everything's in order.
Right.
I don't want to withdraw this and then find out later that it's still part of the planning department and part of the ARB and the all that stuff. It's really, this is just more of to make sure everybody's on the same page. And I don't mind withdrawing it if we can just administratively, you know, get rid of it. That's fine.
Council President, Councilmember Tahar, normally with a code rewrite at the end of the years that it does take, the city clerk will present, and I think the city clerk might be able to speak to this, present an ordinance that then administratively repeals all the things that are recommended throughout the entire code in one fell swoop. So, so I think since it's on the agenda, we could go ahead and take this action because it might be some time that we would do that, and it would be included in the entire code rewrite. So.
Okay. Mr. President.
Yes.
Honestly, it's really just it's less confusing to everybody. I think that's the problem we're having, is that the governmental district is referenced in several parts of the code. So I think if we just leave it in there until we rewrite it, then we're basically not doing what the administrator is talking about. So I'd like to leave it on the agenda if possible.
Okay. There's been no motion to remove it, so I think it's fine.
Okay.
Vice President Spencer.
Thank you. I want to make sure, and I know that this is not, and especially for the audience members, I want them to know that this agenda conference format specifically been sort of redesigned so that we don't, as members of council, try to argue the merits of basically each agenda item. So pardon me if that's what this sounds like, but with a Monday afternoon agenda item, I want to make sure individuals by Thursday have complete knowledge, and that is, if this is abolished, and Madam Attorney, if you'll let me address her directly, is would then that remove what is described graphically in map 12-2.2, the governmental center district as established in December of 78, would that remove that as a district that is reviewed by the Architectural Review Board?
I think it's already gone. That's the point.
Well, I know that, but I want to get a clarification right now.
Okay, Council President, Councilmember Spencer, to the extent that it exists in theory and perhaps in practice, and because the ordinance has not formally been repealed, then we could just complete the task. But this district is abolished, and our ordinance hasn't, caught up with recognizing that. So I guess if we do take it off the books, we could eliminate it we could remove the map and
it evaporates.
Make it complete, right?
And so that's my concern. I want to point out, and I'm going to see if I can craft an amendment by Thursday, because we have some very significant parcels in this district. The West Main Street corridor, for instance, the school, Escambia County School District's property on Garden and Spring. We've got areas that, for instance, the John Sunday House site right here is on this map. So if we don't in some way still, I think, add to this ordinance a caveat or an amendment. For instance, we've got some church properties, etc. We've got significant sites ripe for redevelopment that would then not go before the review board. Right?
Council President, Councilmember Spencer, I'm not sure the elimination of an ordinance that is no longer relevant on the books relating to this area established under the Act, which has been abolished. I'm not, there must be, then need to carefully examine, then is it just in a no man's land, or is there a default district that it is in? And so I don't have the answer, but it's not going to be this district. It's going to be in a default district, or maybe there needs to be a deeper study of what district it could be could absorb this area.
Well,
it's
a tedious process.
Well, but it seems that in consideration of your concerns, and also with the idea of the establishment of it back in '68, it was quite, a creation. I think we need to, dignify the renaming of whatever area would then be substituted with some study. But please direct as you wish. Thank you.
Well, okay. I mean, this is a very serious issue, and I hope that sponsor, fellow Councilmember Tahar, would appreciate my question. Balin Lofts, for instance, before on council, I purchased the former Bill Thompson's office supply building, a 1940s era building that I dare to say might not look like it does today had it not gone through the evaluation and review of the Architectural Review Board. That is a building that is in this governmental district. And without the careful expert opinion and evaluation, as painful as it may seem, and I was on the receiving end of that evaluation as the developer. That project is an example of a successful redevelopment project that won a Design of Excellence Award from the American Institute of Architects. And I'm saying that I don't think that most of the development community, of which I'm a member, necessarily strives for design excellence if given a wider latitude. This is a very high visibility portion of our city where we have, again, landmark opportunities. And we've already discussed other projects that have been under construction outside of review districts that have currently under construction that people are concerned about. So I'm just asking my fellow member Tahar to consider, perhaps he wants to make on Thursday, a friendly modification himself.
Well, I think the point is the governmental center district doesn't exist.
I understand that, but I'm concerned that this formality removes something that is recognized currently by the ARB. And if you remove that title, how do you put your arms around it?
Okay. Councilwoman Canaway.
Well, Mr. President and Mrs. Spencer, why can't you kind of maybe create another district?
That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
I mean, just create another
I'm just warming everyone up.
just, create another district, a district that you feel would do those things that you want to do. But this one right here just does not exist.
I understand.
Not extend it, just create something that would fit the protections that you're looking for.
FGCD, former Governmental Center District.
Councilman Tahar.
I think, and I may be wrong, and I think I know at one point we were trying to do the maritime district, and I think that we were trying to include this area in it and get rid of the governmental district and sort of do both at the same time, and that ended up not passing. I appreciate Councilman Spencer's sentiment. I feel a little differently about it. I think the ARB and the oversight of that is very important for our truly historic districts. I don't consider this governmental district as a historic district, and so I don't see that as important as Councilman Spencer does, and I appreciate his stance, but I see it as hampering, a hampering issue. And so again, I look forward to the discussion on Thursday and see where things work out. So I thank you.
I look forward to it too.
Okay. All right. Seeing nothing further on item 10.